Here on YouTube, it can be rather difficult to talk about the more serious topics, and I am very fortunate to be in a community, this COD commentary community, where we don't seem to be afraid to tackle these rather heavy things, and today's no different. Hi there, my name's Loaded Buggy, and today we're going to be talking about one of the two guaranteed things in life. It's not taxes. Today we're going to be talking about loss. Over the last 4 years, I've lost 5 important people in my life. 4 grandparents, all within a year span. And then this last year, I lost what I consider to be a brother. And it was something that came as of course, a massive shock because he was very young, only in his 30s. And it was something that I didn't expect, but it also hit me far harder than I imagined it would. He had meant a heck of a lot more to me than I even realized, but definitely more than I think he realized as well. And, just a few months ago, I kind of want to preface this, just a few months ago, I went back and watched the podcast, Real Ones with John Bernthal, I think it's the most popular episode that he has with Shia LaBeouf. And say what you will about Shia, or say what you will about John even, I took a lot away from that podcast because a lot of growth came from Shia, and you could see that in how he was speaking, what he was speaking, and how he would react whenever he was speaking about those things. And I learned a lot about him, but I also learned a lot about myself when watching that. And it really made me realize how important a platform like this can be. And I'm so glad for the COD commentary scene to be able to talk about these deep topics, because without this scene, I don't think I would ever have really stumbled upon a podcast like Real Ones. I don't think I would have. But Shia said something that was really amazing, actually, during that podcast. And it made me think for days on end about this one sentence. And he said, "It's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end." And that was a phrase that was like, wow. That I've never thought of it that way. And it's so true that whenever I'm feeling defeated, or I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset, and everything just seems like it's all crumbling to the ground and nothing is going to be okay, and I'll never recover from this. Looking back at those instances, I was in the midst of my battle, man. I was in the midst of my battle. And it's so true, because when I was feeling like that, it was not the end. And then the end came, and I felt a sense of peace. I felt a sense of joy, even in many ways, and happiness and acceptance. I felt a lot of different things that I wasn't feeling in the moment. And the reason I bring up the loss of my grandparents and my brother there is because I really didn't know how to process the loss of people that were important to me. My grandmother and my grandfather in specific lived in the city that I live in currently, and they were two that I did not grow up with. I moved out to the state of Arizona in 2008, spent most of my life on the East Coast. So after about 12 years of my childhood, moved cross country and really met my grandparents for the first time. I had met them a couple times. I knew who they were. I even spent a summer with them, but I didn't really feel like I knew them. So whenever we moved out here, I started to spend a lot more time with them, and I realized what a loving and accepting grandmother I had, that she didn't have to know me that much to know that she loved me and that she wanted to spend time with me. And my grandfather was the same way. He was a guy that loved to share, loved to laugh, loved to just do the silly things and spend time with these grandkids that he didn't know that well, but he wanted to know. He wanted to know well. And we got to that point, and it was really a beautiful thing. And whenever I lost those two in specific, they came within months of each other. My grandmother died due to some health complications, and it was rough for the entire family, because she really was the cornerstone of our family. I'm never shy in sharing my faith, my Christianity, and she is really one of the big reasons as to why my family even accepted Christ in the first place. She was born in South Korea. She married my grandfather, who was in the Air Force. He met her in Seoul, and they fell in love, grew together. She left South Korea, moved to the States with him, and started a new life together. This was his second wife, my father's stepmother. And things were certainly not picture perfect at the start. They weren't Christians necessarily whenever they got together, at least not practicing anyway. And they made some massive changes on moral evaluation, who they want to be as they progress in life, and much, much more. And they became completely different people as time went on. Amazing, amazing people. And it really hit us all hard whenever my grandmother passed, because, like I said, she was a cornerstone of our family. She was one that always wanted to bring people together. She was always giving. Every Thanksgiving, she would make massive amounts of food because she wanted to ensure that she had leftovers so she could bring some plates to her neighbors, every last neighbor. And everyone knew her because she made these efforts to just give and force a sense of community on people that didn't necessarily reciprocate, but she didn't care. And she was an amazing woman. And whenever she passed away, it hurt us all. Absolutely crushed my grandfather, because in his words and from my eyes, he wouldn't have been the man that he was if it wasn't for her. And he was an incredible man, a man of strong faith, a man who expressed great love and admiration for his children, for his grandchildren. And he wasn't the perfect father, but he was a darn good grandfather. He made amazing strides to be a man that I can remember extremely fondly, and I'm so happy to have been able to know him in the first place. But dealing with their loss taught me a lot. It taught me that time is short. We live a long life, but especially with something like your grandparents, you really don't have them for as long as you think. And I regret not spending as much time as I humanly possibly could with them. But I also cherish the moments that I did have, and I think about them all the time. I think about the memories I had with them. And then, just last year, my best friend's brother passed away. And my best friend and I, we met in second grade. We, from that point on, essentially were tied to the hip. We were best friends. Every single Friday, I was spending the night, sometimes the weekend, at his house. And, yeah. We never let go of each other. We've known each other for 20 years at this point. 20 years. We've been best friends. And every single time that I see him, it's as if nothing changed. We haven't lived near each other in 15 years. But it hasn't stopped our friendship from still being here. We still consider each other to be best friends. Somehow, we've retained that. And his brother was a big part of my life, because I spent so much time at my best friend's house. I saw his brother a heck of a lot, and he was a man that taught me a lot about teenagehood before I even got there. He also taught me how to be a better brother. He taught me how to care. He taught me how to be patient. He taught me how to love relentlessly. Let me tell you, it was relentlessly. He was a man that was, he was a man's man, from my eyes anyway. He was a total guy's guy, but the type of guy that was charismatic and funny and loving, that every person wanted to spend time with. And whenever his loss came, Whenever he passed on, I didn't expect it to hit me nearly as hard as it did. I hadn't seen him for probably 4 or 5 years, and whenever I heard that he passed, I was confused. I was obviously hurt, but then the pain just started to increase, and whenever I was watching his celebration of life ceremony virtually, I couldn't keep it together. I had to stay off camera, mute my microphone, because I could not keep it together, and I never understood why. But it's the unspoken moments that I attach to, and the feeling of loss, of losing someone like that had such a unspoken impact on me. He never directly instilled anything into me, but just observing him helped me to learn a lot of things. And processing his passing was a confusing thing. And like I said, just the same result kind of occurred with my grandparents. I thought a lot about how little time we have with people, and how we could all do a better job at putting the stupid phone down, sacrificing our own hobbies, sacrificing our own personal time, and being intentional about spending time with the people that we love the most, spending time with people that we haven't spoken with, just reaching out. It's a really tough thing. I know we all deal with loss, and we all deal with it in different ways. And when I grieve, man, I grieve. I do. I don't try to suppress those tears. I let them flow, because I know once they flow that I'm going to feel much better. It's part of the process. But I think about all 5 of these people almost every single day. And when I say that, I genuinely mean I think about them almost every single day. And somehow, by the gift of God, somehow I have managed to find a way to, when I think about these people, it's no longer with a pure sense of sadness, but it's often reminiscing about the most positive experiences that I had with these people. And I think that's really the key to recovering from a massive loss. It's not thinking about the fact that they're gone, and I know that's inevitable, and that's an easy thing for me to just sit here and say, to not think about them being gone. It's real easy to say that, but actually controlling your mind in a way that prevents that from happening is near impossible. So by no means am I saying suppress anything, but at the same time, whenever you find a happy moment that you can think about, I personally tend to just try to latch onto that for as long as possible. Replay that positive memory. Replay what they were in my mind at their absolute best. And I think that's really all we can do. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking a lot today, and I kind of wanted just to share my feelings about what I've gone through, because I know many of you have gone through similar things. And I'd like to know how you guys managed to get over loss in healthy ways, I hope. But if not, I'd like to hear your stories either way. And I appreciate you watching this video. I know it's a little bit somber, a little bit different, but vulnerability is what this channel has been about since I started it, and that's not going to change. Sometimes that means sharing stories like this that aren't all sunshine and daisies and roses, but it's real, and I imagine relatable for many of you. So I appreciate you watching this video, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments down below. Bye now.